Hello, everyone.
Hi, welcome. Come on in. We've got up on the screen, if you could drop an introduction into the chat. Hello. Hi, Holly. Great to have you here. Don't forget to drop in your favorite pandemic show or movie. Welcome, Ariane. Susie, what's your favorite? What's your new show that you've got?
I said I've been watching, I know there's a bunch of seasons of it, but there's one season of Alone on Netflix, which is really good. And
I know, I blew through all of those now. We should recreate in Minecraft, Susie, an Alone set and see what happens.
I'm sure Cole would love to build that.
Susie and I will die within 1 hour.
I would not survive my first night.
No $1 million for us. Very sad. Awesome. Hi, Felisa. Thanks for being here as one of our panelists. Great to have you. Awesome. Panelists, as you come in, you can, look at Felisa's background. David's got the awesome background. So awesome, guys. And we are recording now, so if someone needs to drop or anything. Oh, hi, Ariane. Welcome.
Crazy awesome. Lobby, man.
That lobby, that's a full lobby. It's getting hot and steamy in there. Just too much. Maintain 6 feet, everybody, in the lobby as you're coming in. Oh my goodness. Hi, Rose from Brazil. Great to have you here today. Hello, Pirko from Finland, but working as an English teacher in Oman. Oh, how wonderful. Umbrella Academy. I haven't seen that. This is selfishly just for Susie and I to have a list of things to watch this weekend. So thanks, everyone. Hello, Armand from Germany. You like Lucifer on Netflix. Oh, I've heard good things about that too. Oh, Matt, Up makes me cry every time. Great to have you here. And I'm going to cry just because I saw you write Up. I'm already getting teary-eyed. Welcome, Cobra Kai. Oh, my goodness. Pietro, my husband started to watch that. And it's funny. It's not what I thought it would be. We got John from New York. Boys on Amazon. I've heard that too. Hi, Todd. Great to have you here from Kentucky. Wonderful. Keep those intros coming, everyone.
All right, so.
Great. Hello, Shrestha. You're up late. Hi, Stephen. Thanks for coming. Hello, Risto from Helsinki. So if you see somebody, everybody, with who's in your country, we have 2 folks from Finland already connecting. Take note. My next question for you all would be to drop your Twitter handles if you have one, to build your personal learning network with other Minecrafting educators. So that's your next thing. Drop in. Thank you for all the Netflix movies. Susie and I are excited. But do drop in if you have a Twitter handle. That way you can follow people right now. And it's always my favorite after a webinar. I like to go and see how many new follows I have. So go follow Shopping. Thanks, Stephen. We've got Kristen's, Holly's, wonderful. Awesome. So the lobby will keep coming in. Susie will open the door for you all as you come in. But do keep those introductions rolling. We're going to get started because we have an amazing group of educators and leaders and parents here, all for the purpose of what we call a roundtable. And this, of course, is one in a full series this month. And so we're kicking it off with a roundtable just to hear from some of these amazing educators, high level, about remote learning, what that looks like for you this year, and how can Minecraft fit into your plans and your journey of this new world order of teaching. We're so excited to have you all here. Awesome. Keep the introductions coming, everyone in the chat. All of my panelists will introduce you in a moment, but please feel free to drop in there and say hello as a panelist. And we'd love for you to keep in the chat and reply. This chat is going to go fast and furious, but that's how we like it. We like it nice and messy as educators to really get to talk to each other and connect. So happy to have you in this Teams format today. It is being recorded, so if you have to pop out or you're like, I wish my colleague could see this too, you'll have that link after today. Awesome. So here's what we got on tap. We'll do some introductions from the Minecraft team. We've got a Microsoft a couple of special guests. And then we'll go into top of mind. All of you filled out our registration with some key survey questions. And that was to hear from you. What's going on in the teaching landscape where you're from? And we're so lucky because we have such a global group. It's going to be super fun to see how that's different country by country and learn from each other. So we'll look at that. Then we've got questions for our panelists based on the questions that you all asked when you registered. And then we'll talk about next steps. If you're going to join us throughout the progression of the month, what that looks like and how you can keep being involved. And then wrap up and door prize. We've got some fun stuff. To be eligible to get a door prize today, you have to at least say something in the chat. We want you to ask questions, connect with each other. But you can also be eligible by tweeting, right? So you can tweet hashtag Minecraft EDU, hashtag remote learning, hashtag distance learning, and that any sort of aha moment that pops up to you, a screenshot of something we share, help share it for your colleagues that might not be here today to get excited and inspired about using Minecraft for remote learning. Thanks, everyone. If there's any questions about the agenda, pop it in the chat and Susie can help out. Oh my goodness, look at all these great ones. And guys, check out how Stephen Reed added Felisa. If you see someone with a comment that you're like, yes, like Felisa knows what she's talking about, at Felisa, how did you do that? That will make sure that Felisa gets a notification in Teams. Otherwise, it's going so fast, Felisa might not be able to see it. So good pro tip on live events with Teams. Let's keep cruising. So we were really excited. Our team held with our advisory board. I know some of us on the call are on the advisory board, but a nice research session on what does it look like for you from remote learning. And what we heard was it was wild, wild west in March and April, right? We hear all of these terms, keeping the lights on. I just need to get them to log into our teams. Like that's a #1 thing. But now we can all take a breath. And this is my nephew, Xavier, and just by a nice healthy portion of Minecraft. This is a nice Creeper Crunch cereal that's out right now. But metaphorically, I see the magic of students really hungry for this right now, this engagement. Just a quick reminder to, if you can, mute yourself. I hear some nice jingle bells, but I think Susie can help me mute all as well in our chat.
Wendy, we also can't see your slides any longer, and I don't know if that's just me.
You're muted.
Oops, can you guys see it now?
Yay.
Thanks, everyone. Susie might be our muter for folks, but thanks, everybody. We're happy. Please have your camera on if you'd like, and we'll have a moment to unmute if you'd like, but do take a second and check your mute as well. Great. So we are going to try to channel the happiness of Xavier, my nephew here, having a nice portion of Minecraft today to help you move from, great, we got the logistics, the basics down, we're ready to take it up a notch and get into the magic of collaboration and creation with Minecraft. So before we do that and introduce our panelists, let's do a State of the Union. This is who you are based on your registration. We got some mentors in the house. Awesome. If you're a mentor in the chat, say, hey, I'm a mentor. We've got certified teachers that you can achieve through our My Minecraft Teacher Academy on our Microsoft Educator course. We've got folks who've got our community badge, who's made a profile before. There's some advisory board members that work with Susie to really help us define the direction of the product, and then a whole bunch of others. So all of your others in the house, we hope we get you into some of these more formal community pathways, and we'll share a bit about how you can do that. Look at this, everybody. What is our strategy? This is just so 2020, right? It's all over the board. So we've got majority of you are in full remote learning mode right now. So feel free in the chat, either put a GIF on how you feel about that. If you are one of our full remote learnings, just use a GIF and show us your emotions on how that might feel for you. We've also got quite a few business as usual, right? And that might be from around the country, outside of the US. Everyone's in a different state. So hopefully our business as usual folks, you see how this can still be implemented and be ready for you know, having to pivot quickly and having a plan for that if this happens again, for sure. And then a lot of hybrid. That's interesting. I'm really keen on hearing what that actually looks like. So if you were a hybrid person, drop that in the chat. What did that look like? What's your GIF reaction for that? I'm going to stop for a moment and look at our chat just to see some of these emotions popping up. What do we see here? Oh my goodness. Oh, the polar bear one. Sandra's feeling good. I like that. I love it. That's kind of our goal of our series, everyone, is really confidence, right? We want to demystify for some of you who might be brand new to it. Check this out. Where are we? It looks like a majority of us have Minecraft Education Edition at your school. We have up there how you could test that, but there still is a fair chunk of you who don't have it. No worries. We're going to show you some tips for using Bedrock in the classroom, and then we can also help you obtain that if that's a place you want to go. Susie, do you want to introduce yourself, and then tell us a bit about if they are the people who don't currently have Minecraft Education Edition, what might they be able to do?
Yeah, so hey everybody, thanks for joining. My name's Susie and I'm on the Minecraft education team and I work on customer engagement. So I know a whole bunch of you. I also don't know a whole lot of you. So thanks for coming today. We're really excited to bring you into the community. What you see here on the screen, if you go to our homepage, our website, education.minecraft.net, you will see a big purple button in the upper left-hand corner of the screen that says Get Started. That Get Started button takes you to our Get Started flow. So you can check if you have an Office 365 education account. So what you need to log into Minecraft Education Edition is an Office 365 education account. Anyone can download Minecraft Education Edition from our website. There's a download button on that Get Started page, but what you need is that education account. So if you want to check that your account is eligible, you can put your school email address in that enter email address box, and that will verify that you have an eligible account. What it does not do is it does not verify you have a license. So you also need a license that your school may or may not provide to you through their Microsoft licensing. If you do not currently have a license for yourself or your students, you can download, log in, and access a login trial. That trial is 25 logins for educators and 10 logins for students. And that page, if you're interested in purchasing Minecraft or learning more about purchasing or assigning licenses, this Get Started page sends you to all of that info. So that's the best place to start if you do not have Minecraft already downloaded on your machine today.
Yay, thanks, Susie. And we hope that we all get a chance to work with Susie. She's so great with all of our customers. So hopefully you get a chance to work one-on-one with her. If you still have questions about what Susie just shared, please email, I'm going to drop it in just our mcedu@microsoft.com. We'd be happy to kind of walk you through that and kind of one-on-one and see if we can't help you out. So wonderful. Okay, let's keep cruising. Also, which of these methods of teaching with Minecraft have you tried? Some of you, the pink here, probably are the same people who maybe don't have Minecraft Education Edition yet, or you're brand new and you're excited about learning what's possible. We welcome everyone here. So you can see here we've got the brand new, never taught with Minecraft before as our majority. So you're in the right place. We are going to take a progression this next month to help you get confident and comfortable about what's possible. But check it out. We've also got Assign My Students. There's a student right now, one of our youngest students. We're going to go ahead and meet real quick. She's very sad she doesn't have Minecraft Education Edition. Great, but you can see here, assigned your students a singular world to work on. Looks like a fair chunk of you have done that. That's where we're going to start, right? We want to start at the simplest project that you might be able to do, which any student can do who might have Minecraft Education Edition or Bedrock, right? You can assign them a world to play with. And then you can see we progress along, assigning my students a group project, and then finally a world where all of us can join in multiplayer, which is our last week with Stephen Reed, who's on our call right now. And we'll share a bit more about that at the end of the call, what next steps look like. But so excited we're across the board. So if you feel more advanced, hopefully this is a refresher, because we are going to kind of take a bias towards beginners to make sure that folks can get their way along. And hopefully all of us by the end of the month feel comfortable trying out a Minecraft lesson remotely. Awesome. So here's that progression I talked about. We're adding a few other modalities too, but we're going to focus here in this spot where individual students, individual worlds, but then we'll work our way to passing a world along or group world. And then the magic here with having a multiplayer world like esports or collaborative world building. We'll get there at the end of the month. And here you go. You can see that our next webinar is next Wednesday, solo assignments, following Wednesday, building and passing a world, and then a juicy long week of multiplayer and getting that all sorted. At the end of that, you can achieve a badge and a certificate for remote learning with Minecraft. So stay tuned and do try to come to as many as you can. What's top of mind as you start the school year in your survey to us? A lot of you want to get started. How do I even begin? I've never done game-based learning before. A lot of you want to take the next step with engagement and fun, right? My kids know how to access our tools now, but they're still sitting and getting a lot of stuff. I want to give them a more immersive experience. Assessment and leadership. We've got some leaders on the call. I love doing it in my class, but how do I spread that magic school or district-wide? And then just the nuts and bolts. A lot of you had questions about logistics. How long is my lesson? How do I tell them about it? Do I do a Teams call to walk them through? All sorts of logistical questions. So our panelists will give us some insights today on that. With that, I've got a couple of, we have a guest speaker to inspire us a little bit about how Microsoft on the whole is handling remote learning. And then also a nice tidbit from our Bedrock community team for those of you who are using Bedrock or the kind of franchise version of Minecraft. If you have any questions for these folks, drop it in the chat. But with that, I'll go ahead and introduce Mike. Mike, are you on the call?
I am.
Yay, welcome, Mike. Thanks for joining us. We're really excited about your initiatives with helping parents with remote learning. Susie's going to drop in the chat a lovely Teams guide for parents. And we'd love to just hear from you for a few minutes on what your team's been up to for remote learning and any tips for parents and teachers in particular to navigate this world and how Microsoft products and Minecraft might be able to help.
Yeah, thanks for having me today. So we've been very busy, as Wendy was saying, helping out with back to school on the Microsoft education side. We've been doing a bunch of things, obviously, with Teams. Teams is sort of our primary platform in terms of remote learning or hybrid learning or distance learning or in-person learning, all of the above. And we've made a bunch of updates over the summer, especially around some of the places around how meetings work and how we can do things. We just added things like together mode. If you've seen that, that's rolling out, that makes it a much more friendly environment. Instead of 49 squares on a screen, it actually feels like you're together. And there's a lot of science behind that, which is interesting around brain science. And it's less exhausting when you're in together mode in terms of how students feel or teachers feel or parents are engaging. So that's a big one. We've also added a lot of share to Teams, and that is how do we integrate other apps to share an assignment really easily into Teams. And of course, Minecraft Education was a great one that we launched. So it's really easy now to take a Minecraft lesson and share that right into Teams as an assignment, or you can share that right into the channel. We've also added top apps, like, for example, for sharing. So you can do share to Teams with things like Pear Deck, or Wakelet, or Nearpod, or ThingLink, or Flipgrid. So lots of great ways that you can share other apps right into Teams. Then outside of Teams, we've made some big updates. We had some OneNote updates. I'm a big OneNote fan. You can see my cape there. And on the OneNote front, we added a bunch of Teams and class notebook integrations. So OneNote now integrates even more seamlessly with Teams. And so, for example, you can now create new pages directly in class notebooks with Teams. We're going to have the ability to set your channel defaults with class notebooks in Teams. And then we also have performance improvements, so it's faster and it's speedier. So we made some updates there. And the other area that we added some good product updates is around immersive reader. So if you know me, you know I'm a big fan of the inclusive classroom. And during remote learning, it's even more important for students, special education students, or students with maybe it's dyslexia or dysgraphia or vision impairments. So it's even more important for our software to be inclusive when students have to work from home. And we've made a bunch of improvements around reading, writing, math, and communication tools. So as an example, with Immersive Reader, we just announced integration with code.org and Immersive Reader. So you know that I'm sure Immersive Reader is part of Minecraft education, which we love. So you can launch the Immersive Reader right inside of Minecraft. Well, another popular STEM area is code.org. And so code.org is going to have Immersive Reader integration with their coding platform and their curriculum. We also announced some new partners like Safari Montage, and we have other Immersive Reader integrations coming to Outlook, and Immersive Reader integrations coming to our math apps. So really trying to make our apps even more inclusive. And then things like Transcribe is coming to Word to make Word even more inclusive and accessible to transcribe audio automatically. So that's a quick tour of the product updates that we've got for back to school. The other thing I'll mention, I'm glad they put it into the chat, just the guides. We've got remote learning for family guides. We have remote learning for student guides, remote learning for teacher guides that we've updated. And there's a ton of great information available on the Microsoft Educator Center. And I'll try and put this into the chat if I have a chance as soon as I'm done here. But we've launched new courses on the Educator Center around hybrid learning. We have new updates around these guides, these quick start guides. And we've also got a set of new courses and videos that we're putting out into the Educator Center as well to help people get up and running fast. And so that's it on my end. The other last thing, and I'll put this into the chat, I've personally been working on a YouTube channel to make quick tips. So 2-minute little short videos to help educators and students and families get up and running. And so I'm encouraging people, I'm going to be putting out quick tips on a daily basis, honestly, for the next couple of weeks. I've already got about 100 tips out there. So check out that YouTube channel and subscribe to that, because if you want to get the quick tips, they're going to be flowing consistently for the near future. So thanks a ton for having me today, Wendy. And if there's any questions in chat, I'm happy to answer them. Anything else you need from me?
Awesome, Mike. So great to have you here. Everyone, if you can unmute really quick, the only time, it's our everybody all at once, a cacophony of thank you, Mikes. All right. So 1, 2, 3.
Thank
you,
you,
Mike.
Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you,
Thanks
Mike.
for having me today.
From Amicus
Kindly
Choice
mute
Solutions.
yourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Mike.
Mike.
So awesome.
Thanks,
Great.
Mike.
Well,
Mabuhay,
Mike
Mike.
sent us a lot
Thank
of-
you.
There we go. Final thank yous trickling through. Do catch that flow of goodness that's coming out of that YouTube channel for sure. And please feel free to share any short links. I think we'll get those for you, Becky. But hopefully that's a nice inspiration of the integration. We know that all of you are on so many different platforms, and some Microsoft, some not, some external. Name of the game is integration, right? All of you have this toolbox that you have. It can be overwhelming, right? So finding out your own objectives for the year and which tools line up with that, and then making them play nicely with each other is so key. So glad that Mike gave us some resources.
And I put that into the chat. A lot of people are asking for the YouTube channel. I just put that into the chat if you want to grab that.
Oh, awesome. Thanks so much, Mike. I don't think I had a chance to plop that on the slide, but wonderful. Everybody give a subscribe. Make sure you at Mike and say hi on Twitter, and thanks for his wisdom. I did want to share here on my screen, Joel from the community management team at Bedrock. He wasn't able to join us, but he did drop some links in this deck for us. We are hearing from the franchise of Bedrock that kids are logging in record numbers over there, and parents want to know, what do I do? How do I help? What can I do? How might parents support access? So I've got a few tips on the screen from Joel. One being you can have open-ended projects for them just by if they're already logging into the regular Minecraft, not Education Edition. challenge your kids to build something in there and then share it back to you, right? It doesn't have to be education edition. It might be creating a home for your character, or like Susie and I might create the set of Alone, all sorts of fun things you can do without education edition. And you can even do this, of course, with education edition as well. Susie will also drop in the chat the education collection for Bedrock and Java, so you can see there's all sorts of fun free worlds that you can jump into. And so teachers, you could assign this, or parents, you can assign it. And think of, when you see that parent guide for teams, reading that through and thinking, how might I help my child log in or complete a lesson? We know parents are taking a big bulk of work to do the classroom management that teachers once did face-to-face. So we know you're partners in crime with us parents. Wonderful. So that's if you have any questions about using Bedrock Edition or Java with your students or with your kids, if your parents, drop those in the chat. We really will go through and try to follow up on those for you and get you resources you need. Now, my favorite part, all of the amazing panelists that have joined us. Susie's going to introduce them, and then on camera, folks, our group of 5 or so panelists can share their name, role, and where you're at, and then your favorite thing about teaching with Minecraft remotely, hybridly, or back business as usually. So Susie, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Wendy. Okay, so we have amazing group of panelists with us today. I have had the opportunity to work with each and every one of these amazing educators. So we're so happy they could join us. So panelists, I know we could talk forever about what your favorite thing about Minecraft is, but let's keep it short and sweet so we can get into the meat of our questions for the roundtable. Okay, I'm going to start by calling on Felisa. Felisa is an amazing Minecraft mentor who's doing some amazing things at Atlanta Public Schools. Felisa, I will let you introduce yourself, your role, and what your favorite thing about Minecraft education is.
Hi, everyone. I am Felisa Ford, a digital learning specialist with Atlanta Public Schools in Atlanta, Georgia. And one of my favorite things about Minecraft is just the level of excitement, engagement, and creativity that's available for students. So I'll leave it at there.
Perfect. Thank you. Angela, I'm going to call on you next. Angela is joining us from South Africa and has been doing some incredible things with Minecraft esports during remote learning. So Angela, you're up next.
Thanks, Susie. Hi, everybody. My name is Angela. I look after digital transformation at Kuro Holdings, which is an independent school group in South Africa. And I'm going to veer away from the brief a little bit and talk about what my favorite thing is about Minecraft from my own personal experience with my daughter. It kept me sane during lockdown while I was trying to work. She's 4 years old. I introduced her to Minecraft, and it meant that I could actually keep working. She learned how to spell words using Minecraft. I'll maybe touch on that a little bit later on.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing. Okay, and now I'm going to head over to my favorite folks from Wales. I showed Mr. Mock this earlier. James, I don't know if you had the opportunity to see my awesome shirt that I'm wearing this morning for you guys. But James, I'll call on you next.
Love the shirt, Susie. Hi, I'm James Prothero. I'm assistant head teacher at Darren Park Primary School in South Wales. My favourite thing about Minecraft Education Edition is how it inspires creativity and collaboration, and how everyone's voice is completely different within Minecraft, and the opportunity it gives learners to express themselves. It's absolutely fantastic.
Awesome. Thanks, James. Okay, Mr. Mock, I had the pleasure of meeting him last year. He has become a Minecraft trainer himself and has really gone through a really cool transformation with Minecraft over the last year. So you're up next.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. My name's Barry Mock. I'm a Welsh teacher in the sunny South Wales. I'm also a part of our Microsoft PLN in the school, so kind of trying to drive the digital agenda forward in the school. And yeah, I'm just obsessed with the mechanics in Minecraft. I'm obsessed. It's the engineer in me, but kind of that whole area of problem solving, making machines work, just creating things that are unusual, and also things that represent things in the real world. So yeah, anything redstone, anything sound, anything light, anything arty, I'm in. Thank you.
Thanks, Barry. Awesome. And last but not least, Sandra, also from Georgia in the United States. You're up next.
Hey everyone, I am Sandra Logan. I am a technology training integration specialist with Cobb County School District, and that just basically means that I get to go in the classrooms and introduce Minecraft to teachers and students all of the time. My favorite thing about Minecraft is, I agree with James, is how students get to show their creativity when they're doing something that they absolutely love. And what I found is that Minecraft really helps those students who maybe overlooked or maybe they feel inadequate in the classroom. It gives them their chance to shine.
Thanks, Sandra. You guys are an amazing group, so thank you. And I think one of the most incredible things you all are doing is not only bringing Minecraft to your own students, but helping other educators in your network get started. So thank you for all the work you're doing in our community.
Thanks, Susie, and thank you, panelists. I mean, you can just feel the passion oozing out of all of you, and teachers feel that, and your students feel that, and they appreciate you, right? And going back to my slide with Xavier, my nephew, like they need this right now so badly. So thank you all for being here today. The way we're going to run the panel portion right now is we've got great questions direct from everybody's registration. In the chat, everybody, I'll pose a question up here. We're going to hear from, if you panelists, if you've got something that resonates or a great example or a point of view, unmute and we can share. We'll spend about, looks like probably like 5 minutes on each of our questions that we have. In the chat, feel free to, you might have an answer yourself, right? Like you might have an experience. We want to hear you in the chat as well. And maybe post follow-up questions or further provocations about that, like tell me more about this or how did you do that? And be sure to @Felisa, @Barry them, and then even after today's call, we can spend some time going back through and adding you back. So thanks everybody. Let us know if there's any questions or issues in the chat, but we'll get going with these great panelists. So as I mentioned earlier, a lot of you are new to Minecraft. And so you're sitting here today probably being like, those things sound really cool, but you might be taking a deep breath and being like, I don't know if I can do that. We're here today to tell you you can, and we can help you. So questions that came through were, where do I start? I haven't played video games in 20 years, somebody said. Where do I find the time to make this? This sounds wonderful, but do I have to build these worlds? How do I do that? I already have to teach twice. I have to teach a virtual lesson in the morning and then have a face-to-face at school. I can't find time for this. We heard a lot of that. And then how do I support students who are also new to Minecraft, right? So you might be new, your students might be new, or you might be seasoned and you have new students. How do we navigate this world? So I'll open that up to our panelists, knowing this new to Minecraft theme, both for students and teachers. Any thoughts, reactions, examples?
So I'd like to start on that. The amazing thing about this is there is an awesome Minecraft educator community. And so it doesn't matter what level you are, new or experienced, there are tons of resources there for the teachers who are just starting out with Minecraft. There are tutorials for the teachers on how to get started, and it just literally walks you through everything. And then on top of that, you can actually reach out to mentors or just within that community. If you have questions, there are always people there willing to help and support. It is amazing. Videos are available, so you are never alone. So that's the beauty of it. And if you just allow your students to have access, you will be surprised that they will take it and run. So you really won't have to do much. Just give them the opportunity.
I love that, Felisa. And if you have time, you should drop. Felisa's done a student ambassador program, which is so amazing. It's so amazing that we're going to try to scale that and build as an option for all of you, so you can kind of take and bake your own student ambassador program. But Felisa's 1000% right that leveraging that excitement and their natural ability, right? We all were there at one point too. We all knew how to play and figure out stuff on our own. But a lot of times in our society today, we kind of lose that the older we get. So channeling that student curiosity and fearlessness and trying something new is so important. And listening to your kids, like Felisa said, that's so awesome. Feel free to drop any of those in. Anyone else on the panel? Do you have any other thoughts? I love Felisa highlighted all of our resources and community. We'll drop some links in on the end of the best ones to go to get started. But yeah, anybody have things about making time to do this and where else you might begin?
Well maybe I'll maybe comment. Oh, sorry, Sandra.
Oh, go ahead, Angela.
I was just going to say, my disclaimer is that I am by no means a Minecraft expert. And what I've found is that just knowing the basics, so maybe doing a tutorial, or like Felisa said, there's so many tutorials or live streams you can watch, but just knowing the basics, just knowing how to build, how to access your inventory, the types of things in your inventory, how to break down, that's always easy to find, and how to move around. And once you've got those very basics, it's very easy to explore and play around. And then I think the second thing is, and I talk about this from a parent perspective, but also, you know, with all of the schools, is to let the kids play, let the students, give them the opportunity. They're going to figure this out really quickly, and really the opportunity is for them to build anyway, not for you necessarily.
I love that, Angela. Thanks for framing that, right? All of you on the call, especially our new ones, you don't have to be an expert. And in fact, being candid with your students, or maybe having, you know, look at your schedule in the next 2 weeks. Can you secure an hour and then be upfront with your kids and be like, look, we're going to just explore. We're going to do an inquiry lesson. I've got 3 questions for you. What's one thing you notice when you're in this, you know, blocks of grass, like, you know, the most basic world you might be able to enter? What do you notice? What do you have questions about? What can I learn, right? Like, maybe you don't even need to build this big, huge lesson, and just have an explore session and tell them that you're exploring along with them as well. It does involve giving up a little bit of control, but we all know that's the best teacher, right? When we can let our students lead the way. Thanks, Angela. Sandra, you had a thought as well?
Yes, and also piggybacking off of what Angela and Felisa had said, I think that the best way to learn is to get your students to teach you. They would be absolutely thrilled to be able to teach their teacher how to do different things, not to be afraid to ask them. And just like Wendy said, just tell them that you're just exploring. I will also say that that tutorial world that's in the library for Minecraft is excellent. So if you do have a little bit of apprehension of not knowing something in front of your students, then just grab a computer, an iPad, and just go through that tutorial world. Is very, very thorough. And as far as finding the time to plan, I do believe that content and curriculum must come first all of the time. So just think about lessons that you are already doing in your classroom. But if you are thinking, well, how can I make it a little bit more creative? How can I add a spin? How can I give students choice in this? That might be an option, just to use Minecraft. You'll be really surprised with what students can do with it.
Oh, I love that thought, Sandra, of like, I love the flexibility that all of you are sharing, that there's not one way to teach this, right? And thinking of that even as an option to begin with, right? As a kind of easy toe in the water, leave it there and see what they can do with it. And then how cool to, has anyone had their students teach a lesson either on the chat or in the panel? Have you had students come up for 15 minutes to just kind of do a tutorial for folks? How does that look?
Yeah, definitely. So I think it sounds kind of similar to Felisa's project. The fact that we trained our digital leaders to actually go into different schools to really work on lessons with, it was supposed to be with the pupils, but it was really to inspire the teachers to develop their confidence, so they could see, well, look, you know, learners are delivering this in a way that they understand. So I don't need to be the expert in Minecraft. You know, I'm already the expert in learning and teaching, and you know, taking away the fear sometimes to think it's absolutely fine to start with a flat world, a blank canvas, because you'll really be astounded by, in a short space of time, what your learners can create. You know, it's just amazing for that.
Thanks,
So,
James. And yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that's exactly how our Minecraft Student Ambassador program came to life, because we literally needed the students to help scale Minecraft in our district because the teachers were slow to get it started, and we knew the students were already the experts. So we just utilized the resources we had and just let them be the leaders and facilitators of Minecraft in the classroom and throughout the district. And that's how we were able to grow our Minecraft usage. So that's exactly right.
I love it, Felisa.
I think it's really important for us to remember that for some teachers, when they come to Minecraft, it's quite a bizarre feeling, because there's quite a lot to take in. And it takes a little while to orientate yourself around what's possible. But in my experience of talking to teachers and they first sort of looking at Minecraft, out of curiosity usually, it's always a surprise when you just peel back a little bit and say, well, actually, no, this is not necessarily about playing a game. This is about you bringing an educational idea and then trying to present that and work through that idea in a different way. And it's like, for me, I think if an educator is looking to get started, the best place, in my opinion, is to use the challenges. The challenges are quick wins. It's like, right, we want you've got 40 minutes, go and build me a sustainable house. And just let them run with it. And what I get from that is, as I'm sort of circling around the room and talking to the individuals, and, oh, why have you put that in there? Why have you chosen to use that material? Oh, why have you put it in that shape? Suddenly, it's like we're not playing a game anymore. What we're really doing is have a really detailed discussion about what having a sustainable house means. And it's quite a bit of a leap, I think, for some teachers to go from, oh, Minecraft is a game, to, oh no, it's a really powerful educational tool. And I think we need, as mentors and trainers, we need to be gentle as they come over the threshold of that, because it is a lot to take in. Just moving around can be really difficult for some teachers to start with. So, I just think it's important to be mindful of that as well.
I love it. Barry, if your hand is extended over the cliff, I will grab your hand and go anywhere. Thank you so much, Barry. All just for 1 second. Come back. Hang on. Okay, so sorry, you might have to unmute yourselves again, panelists, but I love it, Barry, and thanks for bringing up the challenges. Next week, that's actually the focus of our workshop, is to walk through a challenge and really spend time. We'll give you work time to go into the library, to log in, so it definitely will be a different style than this roundtable. We're gonna actually try to be interactive and walk you through this, but thanks, Barry, for kind of laying the groundwork for challenges. I also see some love in the chat for Bees challenge that just came out. So some really fun stuff, and also an interesting conversation about homeschooling right now. Becky and Stephen have brought up there's no way around it. It's disappointing, right, that we don't have a solution at the moment. But please know that all of the great ideas, such as realms or homeschooling SKUs or licenses, right? We want this so badly, but there's definitely technical hurdles to get through. So if you're interested in either of those topics, helping us solve that, that's what our advisory board does. We're trying to involve our mentors coming up in that as well. Please email mcedu@Microsoft to get on either of those focus groups that we're kicking off around homeschooling or realms, just so we don't have the solution or even a timeline for you yet, but please know that it keeps our developers and our team up at night as much as it does for you. So we want your help. So thanks, everyone. And I do see Shrestha in the chat. We have some students in here today. That's awesome. Carrie's dropping in some resources as well. So thanks, everyone. And somebody else mentioned flipped learning, that they've tried that, right? You can flip it with your students building in Minecraft, right? You give it to them and then it can come back to you. Awesome, guys. I'm going to go ahead and switch to our next question. I'm going to do one more mute all. 1 second. Cool. So now we know where to start. Thank you, everybody. And we know we have some ideas about making the most of your time remote learning. I think the biggest takeaway was just try it. If you are stretched on time, just unleash them on the world. It won't take that long. And what's the worst that could happen? All right. Now, great. You started it. You're doing remote learning really well, right? Maybe you've got your routine and your kids know their schedule and they can use Teams fine and they're ready for the next step, right? And so we heard from a lot of you, well, now what? How do I engage them with Minecraft? What are projects that will make them motivated, right? You might be having difficulty with kids completing projects or even attending your calls, right? How might Minecraft be a way for you with remote learning to be that engaging piece? How do you recreate face-to-face experiences, right? We know that's the biggest gap with remote learning. It's very hard to recreate the magic of collaboration. How have you done that, panelists? And then are there great lessons you recommend for engagement? So we've already heard a couple, like the Bees Challenge. So I have those 3 questions on the table. I'd love to hear your thoughts, panelists, on engagement and fun and bringing that into remote learning.
So I'll start. The first thing I think to really get student engagement is to really unleash their creativity. Whenever you're having any of the challenges or lessons with students, don't put too many constraints on there. Of course, you want to have your goals, but the more you restrict students, the less likely they're going to want to participate or even persevere through some of the longer challenges that are there. And a good entry point, as was mentioned earlier, are some of those Minecraft challenges that are only designed to take about 20 minutes. Start them off with something really small like that, so that they feel successful when they're finished, and they know that this is something that they can do even if they're new to Minecraft.
I love that. I love Susie often shows the chickens coding, and it's such a quick win to see if, the magic of 100 chickens duplicating themselves. I love that thought of starting small, quick wins. Thank you for that. Anyone else have a thought?
I was going to say, I agree that.
No, you go, it's fine.
I was going to say, I agree. Those challenges are a great way to just draw students in. And for us, we were also able to do the multiplayer, and I know you will get to that in other series, but that allowed our students, even though they were distant, it allowed them to be together in this one world. So that was really good since they hadn't seen each other in several months. And so it was a form of SEL for us too, so that we could just check on them to make sure they were okay, and that just kind of bring a sense of normalcy back to their world with Minecraft.
Oh, I love that you brought up SEL, and that kind of goes to how to have that, recreate that face-to-face experience, that magic of being able to connect with each other or empathize. Anyone else have thoughts around kind of social emotional learning and how you can use Minecraft to recreate that face-to-face magic?
It's really interesting, and I'm glad that Felicia's brought up the emotional or the well-being side of things, because during the lockdown that we had, I ran a couple of clubs that we had with the kids, and it was difficult. We didn't go through Teams, so they weren't chatting with each other, but it was really, really, really powerful watching them collaborate together through their build. It wasn't just that they were face to face. It was that they were communicating on a completely different level, because they were looking at what the other one was doing, observing, checking if that's what he's doing, and it was all being done without words. I mean, there was a little bit of chat going on, but that wasn't the focus. It was them jumping in and getting on with building together and creating something together without words. And I just think, that's connection at a really, really deep level, and very, very powerful, for particularly during these sorts of times when they're not meeting, they're not seeing each other face to face. So it's a nice way of them being able to collaborate in a creative space, safe space, and to make something, really exciting. So, yeah.
I love it, Barry. We might have to pick on you to make like this discourse with Minecraft, right? You're interested, just method of learning, right? Like asking questions and digging deeper, right? You could have such a simple, small lesson, but you as a teacher, what you can make of that by skillful questioning or dialogue, it's really incredible. It doesn't need to be huge and flashy at first, right? Like there's so much you can talk about just with, building something small and asking, why did you do that? Why did that work? And they can come up with the own rules of the world, right? You don't need to, our inclination sometimes as teachers might be like, oh, I need to make a 20-page manual for this but kids are building that manual in their head as they make it. They naturally understand the physics of the game as they go through. So constructivism at its best for sure. Thanks all. I'm going to move us to our next question. If you have any other follow-ups around engagement, SEL, I don't know if Susie could drop in our mindful night. That's a really great world to drop people in, and they need that right now. Such a great way. You can do breathing techniques and everything. So give it a go. That's a fun dual lesson you could do. I'm seeing lots of questions in the chat about features like mobs that you might want to. Susie dropped in earlier our wish list and feedback forum. At the end, we'll dive a little bit deeper into that, but you can empower your kids to help be an agent in creating this game, right? We're trying to make it easier and more frequent ways of getting the connection to your needs to the development team. And the best way right now is to kind of upvote existing features that are there, like mermaids, Shantila said, and then we can bring that to the development team. They, of course, have to prioritize it, but the more votes makes it easier for Susie and I to say, like, no, number one is mermaid. We have to do mermaids. So we'll try our best, but we can't do that unless we can kind of collate all of your needs somewhere. So thank you, panelists. Really great insights into engagement and fun. Now, here's kind of that logistics piece. Like, yes, this is cool and fun. I know that already. I've seen what my kids do at home on their spare time. But what does effective remote learning even look like, right? With Minecraft or my other tools. How do I make sure they're engaged while I teach them, right? This is something, Minecraft aside, we've got the black screen kind of syndrome of like, should kids have their camera on or off or what? This can be a neat way to have that without, intrusion potentially onto home space and things like that. So that's a question folks have. And then this one, because a big chunk of the folks on the call today are brand new, I'd love to hear from the panelists. What does it actually look like? Like, do I do 5 minutes of overview on Teams, and then do I send them a Teams page with the rubric? What does that look like, and how long? Should I do a half hour and see? Do I do 2 hours? And overall best tips for a fully remote environment to kind of get a lesson underway and get it back from them. I'd love to hear your thoughts, panelists. Jump on in.
Well, I'd like to just share the experience that we had with Minecraft esports, which I think is probably linking to the previous question and a little bit of the next one that you asked. So we introduced, obviously with social emotional learning, and a focus in South Africa is sports. And that's really a great way for teamwork, collaboration, for the kids to connect with one another. Lockdown, we couldn't have that. So we decided to introduce Minecraft esports. And just to sort of give a quick overview of what that looks like, basically all of the students join one collaborative world. So we have 2 teams of students. They each get a build topic. So they get a duration or a 10 or 20 minutes that they're allowed to build for. They each get given a topic based on the arena, the theme that they're in, and they get to build. And it was the most amazing experience because we saw how they connected, they collaborated, they learned how to address conflict. It was a phenomenal experience. And I think just to link it to the second question with delivering, we combined it with a number of other tools. So what we did was when we introduced the game, we had all of our students on a team, and each of the teams had a private channel in the team where they could have their own discussions, share their research, and they could do a meet now. So we could jump into the different calls with the students and listen to what they were actually talking about. It was a way for us to assess the skills that they were developing. So I think, that was a really neat way of kind of connecting teams and Minecraft and providing this really engaging, exciting, fun competitive experience.
I love it, Angela. And we will have our whole last week of Remote Learning Month. Angela's done such great work with esports. Stephen will be walking through exactly what that might look like for you and going through some of the technical questions that are coming through in the chat. So I'm so glad that you planted the seed, Angela, for excitement. I'll take one more from the panelists to add on to Angela's thoughts around delivery or management, and then we'll get to our last couple of questions.
Well, I think the join codes and the release of join codes to let students join remotely, for me during lockdown, was a complete game changer, because it meant I could shape the learning in one Minecraft environment. So, for example, learners come into the world and signs were placed with the learning objective. Now, those signs could be asking a learner to go and research something and do that work away from Minecraft, and then bring their experiences back, and then to collaborate within the platform has been amazing. And I think because it sort of reflected the world that's gone on around people, what blew me away was when 2 students together decided to build something, and then through questioning through Teams, they were able to say that, well, we all know the coronavirus pandemic is around us. They built a field hospital together because they knew that the stadium in Wales was being turned into that field hospital. And, the building, yes, they were able to collaborate to do that together, but then to share back through teams, through our class in teams, they were able to then discuss that with other learners. So they were able to collaborate really powerfully, but then share their learning. And I think, as a teacher, that's so powerful when you've got everything in one place, and how that lesson develops.
Thank you, James and Angela. Rest of the panelists, if you have any other thoughts about delivery, drop that in the chat. We will only be able to take one panelist for this next question around assessment. So great, Angela gave us some thoughts around how you actually lay out that lesson plan and time box what that looks like in your day. But then how do I see what they're doing? How can I assess them? How do I match it to my learning outcomes? We'll be walking through this in our workshops, but if any of the panelists have a quick thought or inspiration around assessment, we'd love to hear.
Yeah, if I could jump in there, another pet sort of love that I have in my life is Flipgrid, and the power to be able to set assignments or tasks to do via the NPCs in game, which then will go out. They can do the work in Flipgrid and then come back in and go to the next stage, or another challenge or another assignment. I think is really, really powerful, because you can assess their speaking. They can write stuff. They can link other documents in. There's so many things that they can do, but sort of walking them through the lesson within a Minecraft environment, I think is a fantastic way of being able to assess them. So yeah, a big shout out for Flipgrid.
I love that idea, Barry. And we'll be going through that in next week's workshop. You might be like, well, how do I sign it? Where and when do I link them to Flipgrid? We'll walk through all of that in our next solo assignment workshop next week. So thanks, everyone. Last question we'll take from one panelist would be the leadership and training portion. So I know some of you on the call are in more of a coaching capacity, or perhaps a principal or an administrator. You're thinking one tier up, right? You're a little bit higher altitude, like this is great, but how am I going to fit this into my training schedule or my professional development or Pro-D? Where do I fit that in? And how do I get teachers excited about it? How do I onboard them? How does it fit in with all the other onboarding with teams or things like that? Anybody want to take a shot at high-level tips for the leaders in the call?
Well, in Cobb, we have offered a couple of 2-day workshops with the NCCE partners that we have. But in addition to that, we also host trainings throughout the year as part of our the various professional development activities that we have throughout teachers throughout the year, where we just have an overall workshop for teachers. Sometimes it's just an introductory. A couple of times we've gone into advanced as well. But we are fortunate in that in our county, we actually I got muted. So also in our district, we also have 27 instructional technology coaches, and we actually get to go into schools and work with teachers. So typically what happens is at a district level, teachers will hear about it. They have some interest in it, but then typically they'll just email or call one of us, and we'll actually go into classrooms. We'll help develop those lessons, model for teachers, and even get into Minecraft with their students as well.
Wendy, you're on mute.
Sorry. Thank you, Sandra. Susie also has some great resources on engaging partners in training. Some partners are on our call today, but also our self-service that Felice talked about with our first question of how might you share out that online training with the entire district or school that's interested. So really great stuff. Susie also has a deployment guide. Maybe that would be nice if you can drop that in the chat, Susie, for if you are a coach or leader trying to think about how can I plan this. Maybe you'll do a fall or spring for some of us training around getting folks onboarded. Thanks all. All right, what it means for moving forward, I leave this to you for your homework assignment, is to think, what does this mean kind of long term for my instruction? Yes, Minecraft is awesome for remote and hybrid learning, but also some of you are back to business as usual. How might you use some of the insights that you've learned by teaching remotely to infuse into your regular teaching practice when you're back to school? We hope you continue to use some of this stuff, like this back channel on Teams. Like, there's just no way we would ever get all 100+ of you to get your voice heard. So there's some really great things to take out of the remote learning period that we're in. Of course, any contingency plans, right? If you do have to go back, how can you be ready in the event that that happens? And then just how do you get better, right? You've started your journey today. What are your steps to doing this and thinking out for the rest of the year how you might want to attack this? So drop any questions in the chat, everyone, for either direct to our panelists, you can @ them. If you have any further kind of technical questions, drop those in the chat. I'll let those come in for a moment. While those questions come in, a few more resources. Again, I'll show this graphic. Angela was kind of talking here about this esports, right? That'll be our last week. We'll really walk through what that looks like. James was talking about maybe small groups, right? Like using join codes, small group challenges, and then also just a building and a passing. A couple of you in the chat mentioned you do that, right? You save a world, pass it on, add to it, pass it on. We'll be going through that in our third workshop, right? The 3rd week of September. So come on through to that. We'll walk you through. Next week, though, is going to be just that. Give them the bees challenge individually, come on back to you to see what they did. We want to start you off there where you can be successful. There that is again, our timeline. So your homework, should you choose to accept it, we have 2 online places where you can continue the conversation. Actually 3, right? There's multiple. There's great Facebook groups. I know there's a good Facebook ANZ for Minecraft teachers in APAC. We've got parents for Minecraft on Facebook. We got our hashtag Minecraft EDU. But we do have 2 channels that are direct to the Minecraft team. We've got our community hub, which I have on screen. Susie will drop in direct to a post about this. So I have a remote learning post. I hope you can reflect on today, all of the great nuggets that folks have shared. What really stood out to you? Did you have an aha moment during this? What action do you want to take next? Are you going to go to next week's workshop and try out an individual assignment with us? What does that look like? Likewise, you can also find in the community hub about the mermaids or any feature requests that you have. Do go under the wish list and feedback, or if you have technical support, like you heard James talk about, you want to learn how to make a sign, right? Not only are there great articles and videos how to do that, but we're starting a new moderation program with our mentors that a few of them will be in there and they can give you ideas for how to get through that kind of one-on-one, like Felisa was mentioning, of being available to coach and help. So we hope you come to this place to get support and also connect with others. You also can...
Wendy, sorry,
Yeah.
Wendy,
Sorry
you're not sharing.
Oh, sorry.
It stopped sharing. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. It's just
weird.
You're
I don't
talking
know why
about links and things and people can't see it. All right. Sorry, whoever else jumped in there.
Thank you, guys. Here you go. Here's our 2 links for our community hub as well. So Susie will drop that in the chat. Check out the articles. If you do have a true issue, you can submit a ticket. We've got some of our support folks on the call right now, Carrie and Adam. They're there willing to help. But we do hope that you take some time to look through the resources that are there to self-help yourself and get help from our community. I've also got on here Stephen Reed's great Enable Remote Learning out of the Microsoft Engagement team. Susie's going to drop a link direct to that team's channel where you can reflect on today. So you might want to reflect on all 4 of those channels. You might want to just reflect in one. But the main thing is that we want to meet you where you're at, and we hope you join the conversation. It is now door prize time. We are at the hour. Let's see if Alex can find somebody who tweeted on Minecraft EDU. We will just do random assortments of our winners. So I'm going to look through the chat at all of the amazing questions and resources and +1s and hearts. And my couple of random winners are going to be, let's see. Oh gosh, this is hard. Okay, I'm closing my eyes. I'm just literally scrolling through. Rochelle, if you're still here, you are a door prize winner. Just email mcedu@microsoft.com to redeem your prize. Let's do one more. Kelton K, thanks for commenting about Flipgrid and Minecraft. Kelton K, go ahead and email us as well. And Alex, did we get anybody on Minecraft EDU? Kelton, there's our email. Let me see, I can pick us a super duper quick Minecraft EDU. Give me 1 second. Our winner will be, ooh, some good stuff on here. Winner's gonna be Cheryl Place. Did a really good GIF about her excitement of remote learning. That's pretty good. All right, guys, that is our door prize. We wanted to thank you for coming today. We hope to see you next Wednesday. We're going to follow up in this chat, so do make sure to keep those questions flowing. Huge thank you. Could everybody unmute and give a nice round of applause to our amazing panelists today? So let's unmute. Awesome, everyone. We'll go ahead and reply to you in the chat. Panelists, if you have a moment to scroll through and do any @replies to any resources or inspiration, but huge thanks. All of you are mega busy, and so to have your support on this call is just priceless. And thanks to our other Microsofters in the house. Thanks, Stephen, for coming and sharing awesome links and resources. We can't wait for Multiplayer Week at the end of the month for you to walk us through all that awesomeness. So thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, Wendy. Thanks, Susie. Bye.
Thank you.
Barry. Barry. I hear you, bro. How you doing? And Felisa, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Yes, indeed. You guys were amazing. You were amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Angela, if you're still there, you were amazing too.
Stephen, I see
And
you were
Jamesy boy with his crazy beard.
giving awesome support in the chat and just doing amazing things. You just have full of magic.
Oh, thank you. We have a meeting later today, don't we, Felisa?
We do, yes. You know, our standing meeting.
And boy, do I have stuff to show you.
I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
James, what's going on with that beard, bro? I just shaved mine off.
Yeah, I did shave it off, but shaving got a bit old, to be honest. So.
Well, the reason I shaved mine was because I'd grown it out and it was looking great and it was bushy and whatnot. And I actually liked how it felt on my face. But then I went to get it done. This might just be a Scottish trait, but I went to get it done. And all the guy did was he blended the sides and he shaped it a little. Hang on, I'll switch my camera on. And he blended the sides and he shaped it at the bottom. I was in there for 20 minutes max. And when I came out, he said, he said, I didn't do a full cut. I just did a shave, you know, a style. So £22. And he said, and I recommend you get that done. I know. He said, and I recommend you get that done every 2 weeks. And I'm like, £44 a month.
So Stephen, what is that comparable to in US dollars?
That would be about $52 a month. Just to get the sides done. So I was like, you know what? I'll do it myself. So I came home and shaved it all.
You can buy clippers for a tenner.
I know, right?
Do it yourself.
I know, but I should have just, I know. Oh, you don't want to know what that would have looked like. Had I come out looking like something out of Greek mythology or something? Anyway, I best go, but it's great to see you all. James, I hope you're keeping well and safe. Angela, you and I see each other every week, but it's great to see you again.
Bye. Bye,
I will see. Oh,
everyone.
Good to
yeah,
meet you
see
You
all.
everyone.
guys. Nice to
Love
meet you.
you.
Bye. Bye.
And
Bye.
I hope I get to your neck of the world sometime
Yep.
soon.
We would love to have you.
Yes, that's why
Good.
this is so good, connecting with people. Now I always have a place to stay.
Exactly.
See you
You're
guys.
welcome anytime.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.